Welcome back to Beer Chats by Altasciences, where good beer meets great conversation right here in my home bar and brewery. Today, I have the immense pleasure of chatting with Altasciences' new CEO, Marie-Hélène Raigneau. And we're here to talk about career development and leadership, not just job titles and career transitions, but also about navigating these opportunities and forging your own path. So, without further ado, Marie-Hélène. Welcome, Marie-Hélène.
Thank you.
Beer Chats.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure to have you here. I know we work in offices next to each other, but we rarely, if ever, actually have a chance to just chit-chat about business, work and other things around our lives, actually.
That's true, certainly not in a bar.
Why don't we kick it off with the first beer?
Let's do that.
So that is my take on an American IPA blonde ale, crisp, clean, got a really nice hop finish.
Cheers.
What do you think?
It tastes like beer.
That's a good start, isn't it?
I'm not a very big beer connoisseur, but I do like it. Actually, it's very
At the end of this beer chat, I think we can chat
Okay,
that.
excellent.
So I'm going to start with the first question.
All right, let's
So
do
when
it.
you started out on your career, what did you think you were going to become? And it could be before you actually went to university. What did you think your future was going to hold? And if you can sort of talk about how that changed as you went along, because you didn't really have a linear path. What was the best part of it? What was the best change? When you realised that you were actually going to be the new CEO?
Oh my goodness, so many questions. Well, it all started when I was 5. I wanted to be rainbow bright. No, I'm kidding. You know, it's funny that you asked that question because when I think about it, when I entered this industry, I was young with a psychology degree and I just wanted to help people. And kind of got into this by accident when I started my career, but really loved the fact that despite the fact that I wasn't doing psychology, which is what I had studied, I was still helping people at the end of it. So throughout the career, you know, I've worked in business development, which is where I started. I worked in marketing, I worked in operations, I ended up in management. And yes, you know, if I'm being honest, I was ambitious. I wanted progression, I wanted to grow, but I never had a master plan to become the CEO. I just like to solve problems and I like to, you know, I like to have new challenges. So that's really what it was for me.
But you started at Future Electronics, didn't you?
I did.
So what was your goal? Were you looking for a career at Future Electronics, or was it just kind of a passing sort of pass some time while you really thought about what you wanted to do?
Right. Funny story, actually. I had just finished my bachelor's at McGill University, and I had done a stage, as they call it in Quebec, where I was working with children specifically, and I thought to myself, I don't know that I can be a psychologist in the sense that I don't know that I could just leave work at work and forget about all those problems when I go home. So I was really kind of reconsidering what I wanted to do with my career, and I happened to find myself in a bar, not having beer, but in a bar. And there was
that.
Yes, exactly.
Like yes.
And there was somebody there, you know, and I was saying, yeah, I'm taking a break before I go back and do my master's, but I want to work, I want to make some money. And she said, oh, you know what? I'm leaving a job. It's a place called Future Electronics. Do you want to go interview and just start there? And so I said, sure. And then the rest is history. I ended up at Future Electronics knowing nothing about electronics, but learned a lot about business while I was there. And ultimately, you know, it was a great kind of learning ground from a business acumen perspective, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. And so that I knew for sure after a few years there, really enriching, learned a lot of lessons. And then I came across somebody who had worked there, who called me about a role at Charles River Laboratories. And they told me a little bit about drug development, which I knew nothing about at the time. And I thought, well, that sounds a lot more interesting. And that's how I started my career in drug development.
It's all chance, isn't it? It's all just the pieces coming together.
Yep.
And whether you take the opportunities come up, but if you don't take them, you never know. But equally, you never know what the path would have been otherwise, isn't it?
Exactly.
Ah, that's really neat. So of all these directions that you took, which was the most radical, or the one that you had to think about the most?
Oh my gosh. You know, I don't know that, again, because I really love solving problems, I love new challenges, the changes themselves weren't difficult. If anything, it was really engaging. You know, the drug development industry really provided a lot of avenues to work in, and I had a very varied career. I got to see a lot of parts of it, which I loved because it kept me learning, it kept me growing. I think the toughest part was more the mindset shift. As you grow in the accountability that you have and the responsibility that you have, it's learning to, the toughest change was learning to, instead of being the person in the room that had all the answers, to being the person in the room that asks the right questions. And for me specifically, letting go of control, even though I could do something, and letting somebody else do it, I think that's harder than people realize. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a neat point. It's an interesting point, that, because I always think the move from telling people what to do to listening to others to help make a decision what you do, I always look at that as a transition for supervision to management.
Right.
And there's many managers who are actually supervisors and they make decisions. So I think that's a really important piece of it.
A crucial piece of it. That's the only way that you can scale. That's the only way that you can work through.
Yeah. And part of those changes you made, I mean, one of the things that really struck me about you is that you're not only just open to feedback, you actively seek it. You actually come and say, give me feedback, give me feedback. Not many people do that. I mean, I've had thousands of people who and I would say it's less than the fingers of one hand, the number of people who did that. And you're always receptive to it.
I've leveraged it to my advantage. It's been it's been a masterclass in leadership, really.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes it hurts to hear, but it's the reality.
Yeah, it's good. It's a very good skill to be able to listen and internalize it and actually do something with it. So what's the most favourite part of your career you look back on? Don't say being nominated CEO, because that doesn't count. We'll take that. It's got to be the best. But of all the rest of it, what do you think was the best bit?
Cue the montage of the past 15 years. I mean, there's so many moments to choose from. I wouldn't have been in it. This industry is not for the faint at heart. It can be very challenging. It can be very demanding. And I don't think I'd be in it if I wasn't constantly being rewarded on some level, right? So I don't have a specific moment or a specific memory. For me, it's every time a team, we do something that we weren't sure we were going to be able to pull off, and we do it well. Or a client gives us feedback that says, nobody else was able to solve this method. Or, we had to rescue a study that nobody was able to recruit for, or we delivered ahead of schedule and the client recognizes that. Those are huge, huge moments. And then I guess on a personal level too, it's from a leadership perspective, every time I've been able to see people that have had the privilege of participating in their progression grow or succeed, that's really fulfilling as well.
Yeah, I can see that.
Do you have a favorite memory in your illustrious career?
Algorithm. Taking it over when it's facing bankruptcy, 6 months away from bankruptcy, turning it around. And I think it's that I really get excited when you're up against it. It's the adrenaline rush, it's the up against the wall, pulling teams together, fixing it, moving it forward. To be successful in the CRO world, you've got to be a bit of an adrenaline junkie.
Absolutely.
You said that in your answer, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You've got to like that. And I spent 6 years in a pharmaceutical company and I left it just because there was no adrenaline.
That's it.
So it's sometimes a hairy place to be,
yes.
But it's actually, I think we're saying the same thing.
Absolutely. Actually. I think the most exciting things to take on are the challenges that folks are kind of thinking, oh, that's going to be really tough to do. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to do that. Now that gets exciting, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I've finished my beer.
I'll finish mine.
I think we've got to think about time for a second one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So this beer, definitely outside my comfort zone.
Okay.
Never tried anything. It's a margarita go, so it's going to be sour. I'm not sure what a margarita tastes like with beer. But, it's a local craft brewery. In fact, it's probably only about 15 minutes away.
Nice.
And you've got to admire them that are trying different things. And I know someone who actually loves this beer.
Oh.
So let's see what we think. Eh? There you go.
Thank you.
At least it didn't explode when I opened it, which is always
That's
a good sign.
That's a good start. Yeah,
This is a good start. So, well,
cheers.
Good health.
Thank you.
First impressions.
Oh, that's interesting. It's not what I expected.
Actually, it's surprisingly pleasant.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
That's very nice.
It's got a sweetness to it.
Yes.
It's got that and the sour.
It's light. It's not as sour as I thought it would be. Yes.
I've been in this business 50 years and I've seen a lot of changes in the CRO. Mm-hmm. So what do you think now are the key needs of a leadership approach? What are you going to bring to the table?
That's a great question. It's a tough industry, and no, I haven't been in as long as you have, but I have seen a remarkable amount of changes. And I guess that's what keeps it exciting on some level. But on another level, it's certainly, that need to adapt is very real. And in the industry right now, the pressure to accelerate is unrelenting. Capital is constrained. The scrutiny on biopharma is, as intense as it ever was. So I think whoever can solve for that, whoever can simplify the complex processes, whoever can communicate with clarity, whoever can adapt and, have sound judgment in sometimes very quickly evolving and even ambiguous environments, I think those are the people and the companies that are going to win in this industry. But the reality is we've built a really solid foundation, right? We have already a platform that is unique in that nobody else has been able to build this. Nobody else has been able to integrate preclinical to clinical and all the supporting services in between and deliver consistently in that regard. So I'm not going to be looking to change things dramatically. Our mission is going to stay the same. How we present ourselves to clients in terms of our integrity and the way that we work will stay the same. I think just like the industry, we're going to accelerate. We're going to invest in technology. We're going to invest in expertise. We're going to keep investing in our employees, ultimately with the goal of getting our clients to their outcomes faster and with more certainty.
Well, you've certainly played a part in moving us forward on the AI side of it as well. You've got a lot of initiatives there that's really taken off over 12 months, if that?
Yeah, it's, but we've been talking about it seems, for almost 5 years, right? And it's all of that talk, all of those interactions, all of that exploration that we finally now have been able to put that into practice and starting to see the results, cutting down reporting timelines by 30% by leveraging AI. It's remarkable. And it doesn't take away the human component. We still need our talented scientists to do what they do. We're just stripping away the parts that we can get technology to do for them.
Actually, one of the major characteristics of Altasciences has been change, right?
Yes.
I think a lot of my view of it, the key was that when we were able to get aligned teams, you could actually do so much more.
You're absolutely
and
right.
You started with real small teams, when you were
Yep.
first moving into one of the processes and then before you got the clinical side of it.
Yeah.
And so how has your team management approach changed? Because you start off with a small team, it's pretty easy. We just call it washroom management. But as you get bigger teams, you've got a 2,500 person team now.
It's huge.
How do you deal with that?
It evolves. And I think that's it, going from an individual contributor to then managing small teams to then managing ever-growing teams. And we grew really quickly. When you think about, what was it, 14 years ago, we were maybe a 300-person company versus the 2,500-person company we are now. That's pretty rapid growth. I think when I used to hire for teams at the start of my career, I was looking for capabilities and experience. And then as I grew and as I learned, now it's more about approach. It's more about resilience. It's more about attitude and alignment of values. Because ultimately, in order to be able to work through 2,500 people to get things done, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, you have to trust people. You have to trust that they're going to be able to do what you need them to do. And so, you can teach skills, but you can't teach integrity.
That's true. I think it takes a while as well to get the people that you can trust, because some people just don't get it. And then it's been really nice to see in the last few years where we've been attracting people who just seem to get it.
Yes.
And my view has always been the culture is now just self-perpetuating.
You're right.
Rather than, I remember the times we were driving that forward and the discussions we had, we get the message is pushing the ball uphill. And then suddenly you come in one morning and others are pushing the ball uphill.
That's right.
You did that? That's fantastic. And that's so, it's just so satisfying, isn't it?
No, you're absolutely right. Like attracts like, and preserving our culture, I think, is so critical as we move in the future. What do you think? What do you think are the critical skills from a leadership perspective?
I don't think they've changed that much over that, but I think and you alluded to it, I think there's much more emphasis on the communication. The communication, and I would also say, persistence, keeping the ship on track and always saying, yes, we can go this way, because there's always this tendency when going this tough to sort of take a different direction. And I think good leadership is, this is where we're going. As long as we're not going to hit a rock, we'll keep going there. I think, persistence and decisiveness. It's been able to be seen to be actually saying, no, this is where we're going and this is why.
They want to understand what you're doing. They want to know why you're doing it. They want to know when things go wrong, that
that's
transparency.
absolutely.
And I think that's one of the things we've done right, is really that transparency, both with our clients and our employees. I think it's a testament to our success.
Which is a great time to say, let's have another beer.
Absolutely.
This one's my favourite beer. It's an English bitter, styled on Fuller's, which is a very old established one. It's malty, it's got a really nice mouthfeel to it, it's smooth, very, very drinkable, and it's one that I keep coming back to again and again. If Altasciences was a beer, this would be it.
Cheers. Oh, that is lovely.
It is, isn't
very
it?
nice.
Does that just make you think of Altasciences?
It does. It does. I do. I want to keep having more. So that's perfect.
So, you're now CEO.
Yes.
What are your goals for the future growth? What do you want? How are you going to build it for more clients?
Yep.
What do you think you want to do?
Yep. Tons of goals. I mean, just put the finishing touches on our 5-year strategic plan and presented that to the leadership, which was so invigorating, by the way, because we had 50 leaders in the room, and just, you know, the exchanges that were happening, the ideas that were being shared, really energetic bunch. I think we've got the best leaders in the industry. So I'm very excited about that. We're going to grow, obviously. Easier to say what we're not going to change. I think, you know, we have this incredible, proven, unique platform. What we're going to do is we're going to double down. We're going to keep growing it. We're going to keep growing our partnership with clients, but we're going to invest in technology and AI to go faster, to be able to deliver to our clients faster. We're going to keep investing in our employees. We're going to keep investing in the expertise and capacity that our clients want. I think the key to our success has always been the fact that we listen to what the industry is asking for. We listen to what our clients' needs are, and we adjust accordingly and we grow accordingly. So we're going to keep doing more of that. And ultimately, you know, the goal I have for Altasciences is I want us to be recognized as the drug development acceleration platform in the industry. Point final.
So a lot of that is kind of behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of leads into the next question. There is, what would you want to keep? What don't you want to change? The key qualities. And don't worry about me. I mean, you change whatever you like. I think it's a different track, and that's what Altasciences did. But what do you see at Altasciences that you say, that's ours, that's what I want to keep?
Yeah, I think, you know, we have such a great culture, and I know that that term is overused, but the reality is we have a bunch of people that really are driven to deliver for our clients, that really want to be the best at what they do, that take pride in their work, that collaborate with each other. I don't want to change that. I think there are tenets to what has made us successful that I absolutely want to maintain. You know, accountability without blame, speed without bureaucracy, and the ability to challenge each other for the better with respect. I think that's what makes us different, and I want to keep that.
I'll drink to that.
Excellent.
So we're kind of coming to the end now, but I got nothing. I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions.
Oh, jeez.
These are no more than 5 seconds.
All right, here we go.
So, one habit that's made the biggest difference to your work life?
Exercise. I know it's lame, and I don't like to do it, but it really does make a difference.
Is that during your workday?
No, before my workday.
Okay, I would agree with that, because I exercise every morning and it just changes everything.
See? Yeah.
I know we've had lots of discussions about that, actually. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Cats or dogs?
I'm going to get so much flack for this. I think they're misunderstood. I'm going to say cats.
Whichever one you chose, you'd get flack.
I know. There's no winning.
Beach or mountains?
Both.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Favorite song to get your day started?
Oh my goodness. You know, picking a favorite song, there's no favorite songs. I'm not going to do that. There is one, but it's not mine. I drop my son off every morning at school, and he picks the music. And right now, it's Kickstart My Heart by Mötley Crüe. So that's what I listen to every morning.
I think you're bringing him up right. So if you had a choice, what animal would you be?
Oh, I used to ask that question in interviews to throw people off. I
Oh,
don't do it anymore.
It didn't appear on here by
I
accident.
Okay, without any explanation, I'm going to say horse.
Horse. I'm not even going to ask any questions.
There you go.
What superpower would you choose?
time travel. I'd love to be able to
good
evaluate
one.
all the
Yeah.
different decision making
Yeah.
and see how it works out and then come back.
future and backward. Excellent choice, yeah. Who would you like to play you in a movie?
Elizabeth Shue.
Texting or talking?
Texting. Texting, yeah.
That's the modern
I'm
way.
part of the new generation, exactly.
Yep, absolutely. So the final question before we run out is, if you could, using your time travel superpower, go back and talk to the young Marie-Hélène, what advice would you give her?
Oh my goodness. That's a really good question. You know, I've learned so many lessons along the way that I don't know that I would change much because everything has been kind of a growing opportunity. But if I had to pick something that I would tell young Marie-Hélène so that, you know, maybe she'd get a head start, is I would say, trust yourself a little bit more. There was a lot of times early on in my career that I didn't ask the question or I didn't make the suggestion because I thought, well, somebody else is already going to have that idea, you know, or that's not a good enough question. Maybe I shouldn't ask it. And that wasn't the reality. And so I should have trusted myself more and really, you know, I would tell her to trust herself more. And then the other thing I would tell her, and this actually did work out for me very well, but I would do it all over again, is pick a place where you're going to be trusted with real responsibility early on, because that really worked out for me. So thank you.
Well, it was my pleasure. So, let's have a toast. Future of Altasciences, future of you as CEO. I feel it's in great hands.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and thank you for coming to Beer Chats.
This has been fantastic. Thank you.